Hi everyone, this is Dan, and this is the Mighty Avengers number 242, continuing my path to Secret Wars. This is the last issue of the Avengers before quite a few of these Avengers get sucked into Secret Wars. You got a pretty interesting shot here. There's a party going on, and someone's walking out saying the party's over. And you got Thor, Captain America, everybody all shocked. It's actually not a bad cover. I kind of like this cover, actually. And this is Milgrom and somebody who inked this. By the way, this is written by Roger Stern, pencils by Al Milgrom, art by, and this is finishes by Rubenstein and Brett Breeding. So they got two different inkers on this. That's kind of interesting. So I obviously know of the Avengers from the movies. The Avengers were constantly a shifting team throughout. Well, basically, they're always a shifting team, so nothing new there. But what I will say after reading this is I'm a little underwhelmed. So, writing is solid by Roger Stern, art not so much, and I kind of can get why the Avengers weren't like very big sellers in the 80s compared to say X-Men and Spider-Man and even Thor and Hulk. The art's not that great, and I mean the story's okay, I guess. A lot of it is team drama. So we're opening it up, and here's two Quinjets, and this is the '80s Captain Marvel. She was, I think this was Carol Danvers' friend, the black girl lady. I guess I can't remember her name, but she kind of has like light powers as Captain Marvel. We get here and we get a very awkward shot of this character Star Fox kind of getting the getting close and steady on Scarlet Witch, with She-Hulk kind of mentioning and observing. So I did this as my art. Once again, I changed everything because I just do that subconsciously. I'll talk about this afterwards. And we get a recap of what happened. They had a little team-up issue with Doctor Strange helping out Jessica Drew. A lot of Marvel characters that we now know nowadays. Though in the 80s, they were kind of nobodies. And you get some commentary by Scarlet Witch on her and Vision trying to help out, or actually her and Doctor Strange and Hank Pym trying to help out Vision, who is, I believe he's injured. And so they were kind of surprised that Vision rejected Hank Pym's, offer to help him out. We get a very awkward page of dialogue between Janet Van Dyne and Hank Pym. So the Yellow Jacket Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it goes on. So they're talking about their divorce and how they're kind of handling it. It's a very awkward set of panels. Not bad art here. Unfortunately, art gets very, very. I would say. I don't know if I would say lazy, but a little bit weird or odd in some areas. So team splits up. Part of the Quinjet heads over to New York, and this last Quinjet, which is handled by Janet, she drops off Hank, and they make their way out. Captain Marvel decides to go in and have a little girl talk with them on the way back to New York. And when they open the door, turns out that they planned a big party for Janet. I think at this time, Janet was running the Avengers at that time. Very interesting, right? Here were the 1980s, where apparently everybody was sexist, racist, homophobic, and everybody, but the Avengers and the X-Men were both run by women. So, just gotta keep pushing that narrative. So this is actually a pretty decent shot. This is, I think, this looks like this is single point perspective off the page. Captain America looks a little bit off because the camera's coming at a weird angle here. Yeah, I almost wanted to draw this, but I decided not to, just because I just felt like I would get so annoyed by the single point perspective that I'd end up changing too much of it. It would be, I already have a bad habit of continuing to keep changing these damn panels. You get some really interesting intrigue right here. Hawkeye and Mockingbird, the old Mockingbird, not the really terrible Mockingbird that are in the modern comics. They're married, so you get a lot of congratulations and everything. Thor stops by to go, cheer and have merry happenings, right? And you get the plot twist of the entire issue, which is Wanda kind of asking Vision to come down, and it shows up in Vision, kind of phases through the door, and he has healed himself, at least from the last issue. So you get a little bit of romance between the two, and it's pretty nice. I will say this issue definitely needed Jim Shooter to edit it more, or at least put a little bit more beat down, because there's a lot of characters in here, and yeah, I know who they are from inference, but if you were a new reader just picking up this issue, The Avengers, you'd be lost like easily. Even for me, I'm kind of lost at what the hell is going on right now. Because I don't know who this Star Fox guy is, and I don't know who, this particular iteration of Captain Marvel all that much. And I can imagine if I was a reader that just picked this up, I'd be super confused trying to figure out who these characters were. So you got some back and forth. Vision has unfortunately some bad news to tell everybody, and that is some sort of super power in the universe that he detected, and it's a big issue. And he pretty much tells Janet, who's running the Avengers at that time, that hey, you're gonna need to kick some people out because you're gonna need me and Scarlet Witch if you want to handle the threat to the universe that is imminent. So you get some really interesting artwork by Milgrom and I guess Rubenstein and the other guys. By the way, is this a I don't know why it is, but for some reason, like Al Milgrom really likes to draw his characters bow leg, and I'll show you later what I mean. There's just a lot of times where you see like everyone's leg that Al Milgrom kind of draws is a little odd. Maybe that's just my opinion, but just looking at it. I will say, though, he does do a pretty good job. Like, these faraway shots, he really gets the women really well. It's just when you get up close, sometimes his art kind of just drops in and out. It's kind of interesting. I'm not sure how to describe it. But you get a pretty candid scene here with Mockingbird and Hawkeye kind of talking out sort of, they're starting their marriage off. And you get Janet brings Thor and Captain America down to have a little meeting. And actually, I do like this is really nice. Like, I like the expressions that Hawkeye has in here. Overall, I mean, this issue, you get some, some more back and forth with Scarlet Witch and Vision, and you get also the sort of restructuring of the Avengers team, because they apparently can only have like 6 or 5 people in the Avengers, which is kind of interesting. I didn't know that was a rule with the Avengers. But anyhow, turns out that something crazy is going on in Central Park. You kind of already see where this is going. Avengers assemble. Everybody heads out to go check this place out. All the flying people go around. You get a lot of guy with their tech equipment trying to scan in this building and figure out what the hell's going on. Suddenly so She-Hulk, Wasp, Captain Marvel, Thor, Hawkeye, and Captain America notice this opening in the arena. They go in and they walk in, and they get zapped, and we're into Secret Wars. So all's well that ends well. You get some drama with Mockingbird. She's absolutely terrified because she just lost her new husband. Vision and Scarlet Witch and everyone else are just freaking confused, and they don't know what the hell's going on. And we go to Secret Wars, right? So what do I think? It's okay. I don't know. Like, I think the problem with the Mighty Avengers, at least this issue, is I feel like I need more background, and I'm just some of these characters, maybe it's because of modern Marvel that I'm letting myself get too influenced by it, but I don't know why, but I couldn't really get into this issue. I think Roger Stern's writing's fine. I think he does a good job, but it might be the art and just sort of the inconsistency of the art, panel to panel, and maybe the structure and the composition. But yeah, I mean, it was okay. That's kind of my feeling about Mighty Avengers number 242. So how did I do? This is actually grabbed something from the first 2 pages. I haven't done that in a while. So again, made it Titanic. I actually made it the same width, so I ended up having this stretched drawing. And what I'll say here is this is definitely, I'm getting kind of lazy here. Because for some reason I focused on making She-Hulk and Scarlet Witch's boobs big, which they're actually pretty big in the original panel. And then I had Star Fox kind of shift over to grab her more, and I had She-Hulk kind of turn her head for some reason. Also screwed up She-Hulk's mouth. Her mouth isn't drawn that way. This is a bad mouth. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I have actually several attempts at drawing She-Hulk, and for some reason, I just can't get it done. I'm gonna have to buy a bunch of John Byrne She-Hulks because I can't freaking draw her properly. Oh, it's really frustrating. Anyhow, art's okay. I think I'm just kind of lazy here. It might be because I wasn't that into this issue. But yeah, that's the review. Let me know what you think. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. If you got any comments on the Mighty Avengers 242 or the Avengers of the 1980s, or this art piece that I did of She-Hulk, Star Fox, and Scarlet Witch, leave it down below. And I will see you next time.